Today I'm aboard the Devinci Wilson 29er with the XO1 build at Whistler Bike Park. Not a bad day. As far as the geometry of this bike, it feels really good to me right off the bat. It's got a 465 reach on this large that I'm riding. And the craziest thing about this bike is probably the 460 rear end. Of course, adding a ton of stability. This bike just screams stability. You can definitely just kind of see some gnarly stuff coming and just pretty much send it full bore right into it. Yeah, it's just these tight trails that feel a little bit cumbersome on this big of a bike. I think it's just mostly down to that rear end. That 460 millimeter rear end is just, she's a long one. And of course, we're jumping right into the downhill segment of the review today. No need to see how this thing climbs. I think might be a little disappointed by that. The one thing that I have noticed is just how careful you have to be with these full-size bars. They are quite wide. Maybe worth looking at chopping them if you're riding anywhere with trees. Woo! Bringing this bike out in like a proper bike park definitely shows the strength of this bike, and especially these kind of like chundry or double black trails in Whistler. I just feel like these are kind of the only trails that really get this bike to open up and to actually feel what's going on. Because if you're going too slow on this bike, it feels very numb. Yeah, this bike is just kind of like that buddy that you have that is just only obsessed with riding the gnarliest trails possible. They only want to send it to the moon, go insanely fast. That's what this bike is. It's just made for being intense, and it just really doesn't want to do anything else. One of the other things I've noticed is just you've really got to kind of like take up on the front end around tighter corners if you're trying to get this bike to, corner pretty hard. You've got to just get up on that front end to get weight over that front tire. I really like the suspension on this bike. It's got kind of a linear feel where you can just get deep into it pretty easily, but I rarely catch the bottom of it, especially today at the bike park. I'm just not really feeling like I'm bottoming the bike, but I'm definitely getting to use quite a bit of it. So it's this pretty nice bottomless feel. As far as the components go, the guide RSCs are super powerful with the full-size rotors. The RockShox dampers feel great. Really no complaints there at all. They keep the bike like right in the travel where you want it. The carbon bars on this bike kind of take out some of the trail shocks. Just feel like they're doing a little bit to help you on the suspension front. This bike came spec'd with the Maxxis DHF, DHR, DH casing tires, obviously in 29er sizing, which are feeling pretty great. They're a little bit stickier than what I'm used to, and the casings just really deaden a lot of the trail. So, feel incredible. It's like one of the huge advantages to a downhill bike. This is just the bike that becomes alive when things are pretty crazy. Whether it's big jumps or fast speeds or super techy, really steep stuff. It's just got your back when things get very weird. The other thing that's just super fun about this bike is how stable it is on bigger jumps. It's way more manageable. with that pretty linear top end of the suspension. It's just a lot more predictable than what I'm used to with trail bikes. And to boot, it's just comfortable to go fast on this bike too, in general. Woo! Oh God, so comfortable in the air. As far as my final thoughts on this bike, who is it for? It's just somebody who's looking to get as crazy as possible. Somebody who's downhill racing, really steep tracks, or just looking for a bike that they can just send it to the moon on. With trail bikes getting so much better, a bike like this still kind of sets the standard of like, how sendy can we make a bike? So if you like this review, consider subscribing to the YouTube channel.